Hey guys, it's Rashab, and today's video I'll be reacting and reviewing the new Game of Thrones trailer for season 6, which was released on Tuesday. I didn't react to it that day because I was just busy with schoolwork and I didn't get time until today. So be careful because this video may contain spoilers from the previous 5 seasons. So if you're not fully caught up, or if you plan to start this show, then just close the video right now, because the trailer might even contain spoilers, even if my review doesn't. And otherwise, yeah, if you're still here, then I assume you either don't care or you don't want to watch the show. So yeah, so that's just a fair spoiler warning, and let's get to it.
He's gone.
Snow.
World was on fire, no one could save me but
We're the only ones who matter, and everything they've taken from us we're going to take back and more.
it's strange what desire will make foolish people do.
The great victory I saw in the flames, all of it was a lie.
What a wicked game you play,
Like the
make
song.
me feel this way. What a wicked thing to do.
Every one of us is poor and powerless, yet we can overthrow an empire.
And I wanna
You're in the great game now, and the great game is terrifying.
with you.
Order your man to step aside or there will be violence.
Franken Mountain.
Choose violence.
Wait, what?
Nobody knows no one.
Was that
I've never
Brad?
been much of a fighter. Apologies for what you're about to see.
I'm gonna watch that again because, yeah, I'm just gonna watch it again.
He's gone.
World was on fire, no
There it is,
one
the
could
Dornish
save me
ship.
but
We're the only ones who matter, and everything they've taken from us we're going to take back and more.
it's strange what desire will make foolish people do.
The great victory I saw in the flames, all of it was a lie.
What a wicked game you play, make me feel this way. What a wicked thing to do.
Every one of us is poor and powerless, yet we can overthrow an empire.
And I wanna
You're in the great game now, and the great game is terrifying.
with you.
Order your man to step aside or there will be violence.
I choose violence.
They're so screwed. Yo.
Nobody knows no one.
I've never been much of a fighter. Apologies for what you're about to see.
He looks like he's about to wreck their shit. Okay, I don't know where this starts, so I'm just gonna take this like Okay, let's start with the beginning of the trailer. We see Jon Snow lying dead on the ground, and that's basically the same way season 5 ended, with Jon being betrayed by the members of the Night's Watch and getting stabbed to death. And then in throughout this trailer we see Sir Davos and Melisandre, like they're in a room with Jon's body, So, and it looks like Sir Davos is saying he's gone, but I don't think he's talking about Jon. He might be talking about Stannis Baratheon, because at the end of season 5, Stannis tried to take Winterfell from the Boltons, but half of his men abandoned him, and they were pretty much outnumbered during the battle. And then, even though Stannis survived the battle, he was badly wounded, and he ran into Brienne of Tarth, who wanted to kill him for killing Renly Baratheon back in season 2. So, Brienne basically tried to kill him. I say tried because we didn't really see if she killed him. A lot of people have believed that Stannis may still be alive because they feel that since we didn't actually see him die, we didn't see Brienne's sword kill Stannis, that he might not actually be dead. But I think he might be dead, because I don't think Sir Davos will be talking about Jon, because it's obvious Jon is gone. Jon is gone. But yeah, I think, he's probably talking about Stannis. And even Melisandre, she was like, the great victory I saw in the flames, it was all a lie. So I feel like her faith with the Lord of Light is kind of broken. And I don't know how that's going to impact her character, because a lot of her character development has been based around her faith in the Lord of Light. So it should be interesting to see how this plays out, especially since her and Sir Davos never got along, especially because of her faith with the Lord of Light. So it should be interesting to see how this plays out. Back in King's Landing, Jaime is obviously returned from Dorne, and he's pretty much telling Cersei that the Martells killed their daughter Myrcella, because Jaime went to Dorne to save Myrcella from Oberyn Martell's wife, who wanted revenge for his death in back in season 4. So yeah, it looked like they were about to get away, but if you recall, Oberyn's wife Ellaria, she poisoned Myrcella, and I bet Jaime was pretty mad about that. And as mad as Jaime is, Cersei's gonna be way more mad, because knowing the way she acts about her children, the Lannisters are pretty much going to war with the Martells. And it should be interesting to see how Oberyn's older brother, Doran, reacts to this, because he was doing everything in his power to prevent war. He tried to protect Myrcella as best as he could, and he's the one who agreed to let Myrcella go back to King's Landing. So it should be interesting to see how he reacts when he learns that Oberyn's wife killed Myrcella. Back in Winterfell, it looks like there was a shot of showing someone hanging from a cross being burned, and the cross with a man hanging on it, sorry, not a cross, an X with the man hanging on it, is basically the sigil of House Bolton. So I couldn't tell who it was, because it wasn't focused on that person, but I'm gonna go out on a guess and say it's either Ramsay or Roose Bolton, because Brienne of Tarth, besides getting revenge for Renly Baratheon's death, she also wanted to help Sansa Stark, and obviously Sansa Stark needs to get rid of the Boltons if she's going to take back Winterfell. And speaking of Sansa, clearly she survived her fall, as did Theon when they were escaping Winterfell. We don't see much of her. She's only in there for like one shot, so I wonder where she'll be heading now, because in one shot we see that there are some Stark men, along with some Tully men who are basically Sansa's uncles on her mother's side, rallying for battle. So maybe she's gathering the Northerners to take back Winterfell. So that should be interesting. Speaking of the Starks, we see Arya in the House of Black and White. Looks like she's continuing her training with Jaqen H'ghar, and she's obviously still blind from the dark magic that Jaqen did to her back in season 5. So, and it looks like he's still mad about what she did, taking a face from the Hall of Faces to kill Meryn Trant, because that's not the way of the many-faced god. So it looks like he's like no longer holding back anything. He's like punishing her severely, because in one shot you see he basically punches her in the jaw, and she goes like, well, not flying, but like she gets knocked down. So yeah, that should be interesting to see. And lastly, we see Daenerys. She's surrounded by some khals, which are like the horse lords, and so Again, she's not in the trailer for long, so it should be interesting to see which Horse Lord kidnapped her and why. Because if you recall, back in season 1, a lot of people from Khal Drogo's tribe left the tribe and they wanted to kill Daenerys because they thought that her ways are wrong compared to their ways. So they wanted to stick to her traditional ways, but Daenerys wanted to implant new ways. So it should be interesting to see how that plays out. Obviously, Ser Jorah, he still got his grayscale, and him and Daario are looking for Daenerys. And Tyrion, he's not in the trailer for long, but he's basically, I don't know who he's talking to, but he's saying, you've entered the great game now, and that game is a dangerous place. So yeah, and it looked like one shot, like Daenerys' castle in Meereen is getting blown up. So maybe it's the Sons of the Harpies, they're attacking while Daenerys is gone. So we'll see how that plays out. By far, my favorite shot in this scene in the trailer was like near the end, where we see Bran Stark, and he's obviously beyond the wall, and you see him next to the Night's King, which, if you recall, the Night's King was the White Walker that Jon Snow and the Wildlings saw back in season 5 at Hardhome. And what's even more interesting is that Bran looks like he's standing, and I'm not sure if that's a vision or that's actually going to happen, because if you remember back in season 1, like literally the first episode of Game of Thrones, Bran was crippled when he was thrown from he was pushed from a window of a tower, so he was basically unable to walk. And so yeah, maybe it's a vision, or maybe it actually happens with some sort of magic. So that should be interesting to see. That was a pretty cool trailer. He's just looking around, and all of a sudden he turns around and he sees the Night's King. He's like, oh god. I don't know, there's not really much to go off on, because right now everything's just speculation. One thing for sure that we do know is that the Lannisters are going to war with the Martells. And speaking of the Lannisters, it looks like the High Sparrow is trying to bring Cersei in for her trial. Because remember, even though she did the Walk of Shame, she hasn't had her trial yet. And she's using Franken Mountain, which is like the mountain revived, to keep from going there. So the Sparrows were like, order your man to stand aside, or you face violence, or something like that. And she's like, I choose violence. And I was like, okay, yeah, these guys are screwed, because the mountain is not someone you want to mess with. And I don't know like what they did to him, but he looks even more intimidating than usual. So yeah, that should be cool. But then another scene, it looked like she was heading for a trial, so I guess maybe they relented or whatever. But knowing Cersei, she's probably going to demand a trial by combat and choose the mountain as their champion. So it should be interesting to see how that plays out. And Jon Snow, like, is he coming back? He probably is, but I don't want to say anything for sure. But yeah, Jon Snow, I'm 90% sure he's coming back. And I think Melisandre will bring him back. But because if you recall, back in, I think, season 3, the Brotherhood of Banners, they also worship the Lord of Light. And one of their members, every time he would die, he's like their leader. He said they brought the leader back like 6 times from the dead. So I'm thinking Melisandre can also do that. But again, like I said earlier on, her faith has been broken with the Lord of Light. So I don't know how that will affect it. Other than that, I don't really have much to say. This is, I want to say a teaser trailer. The show airs in like a month, so I'm looking forward to that. So what did you guys think? What was your favorite part of this trailer? What theories do you have about season 6? And whatever you think, just comment below, let me know. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.